Welcome to 2020 and a new training on Python. So before we get into the actual training content itself, let us spend one day to go over a few points. Team. The first is, why is it that we want to learn Python? Okay. And then any prerequisites that I expect you to be aware when this training is happening. I'm assuming all of you can hear, team. There's a hand raised. If you have no question, please put it down, team. You can raise it when you have a question. Thank you. Any prerequisites? No hyphen that are needed. Then the actual training content. What will happen within the training? Your assignments and practice. And we will talk about Python project for JPACT members. We also have to talk about the training schedule and process, how the training is going to happen. All right, so let's talk about these items. Any questions that you have, please bring it up to me. So team, for me, why learn Python has become very simple. I'll tell you few reasons that I look at it the way I see. It is a powerful programming language. So when we talk about competing with a language like C# or Java, rather .NET and Java and so on, it needs to be able to provide all the concepts that it has. So it is inbuilt with a good amount of programming language that is built in with it. It is open source, so basically there is no license fee to use it, and it has got a large user community. This user community is a critical thing on any product's life cycle, team. It primarily adds to what it wants to do next. Let us say we bring a product into the market, for example, the first version of WhatsApp. And this was maybe about 10 years ago or so. And then you release the first users, say about 1,000 people. Now, if those 1,000 people liked it, then you'll go to 5,000, then to 10,000, then to 20,000, 50,000. So your user base grows based on, how you keep on giving new features as well to it. So if we have a large user community, whenever we have reusable components like libraries and so on, we get this user defined content to reuse. We don't have to recreate everything from scratch. And team, it is okay if it sounds very boring initially, some of these concepts, but as we go along, you will understand that it is actually making sense. We will also talk about who is it for, team. Who does it suit? Okay, this specific training that we're going to do. Okay, library. Now the other thing is we can use Python for automation of tasks. Python is extremely fast and easy. So once you start writing, you'll understand that if I want to write, I can have a Python program with just one line of code in it, but I cannot have a Java code with just one line. I at least need to define a class, have curling, open brackets, close brackets, and then define a line. So how the differentiations happen, is very important thing. Now, I'm not sure how many of you in the audience are good in some of these tools, but we will take account on that. But why else should we learn Python? Python for automation is one reason. Let me put it down. Then we have, there's a lot of things we can do Python for networking, Python for data sciences, for networking, and almost a lot of things that you see in the Internet of Things, in the Internet domain, in this space team. So all of these that are there are all being easily compiled using Python, and that makes it extremely popular in the job market. So now what it has done is it has given us a very, very large job market. Large, local, and growing. So when I choose a career, if I'm someone who's, let us say, a little bit new to IT, or I still have a choice to make, I would, and let us say, is it SAP versus Salesforce versus Java versus testing versus Python, and so on. The comparisons that we do is going to be based on the fact on how large is the market. So if the market is large enough, that means there are enough chances for me. And there are there locally, so that I don't have to commute too far or relocate. And the job market is growing. So I've spent a couple of years in this industry, but if it's a dying field, then all that I've worked hard, I have to relearn again. So with these in mind, you have to look at job market, and that is another strong reason why we should get into Python. Of course, yes, there's a lot to do on security as well that Python is being used. And just mentioning a few of the things. And Python has been adopted in schools as well. So you will start seeing 5th, 6th graders starting to slowly talk about programming logic, what an algorithm is, how we build simple Python programs. They're using, things like Raspberry Pi, where they write a program, but to the end of it, let's go to the website. You have small device that you create, which has got its own, like a motherboard with a chip as to which looks at what processing has to be done, and you make small robots. You make small security devices, and so there's so many things that you could do. All that it requires is to be able to do a little coding at the back end as well. So the coding gives us the logic to implement on these. And in today's world, we're trying to take this to everyone. So look at it this way, team. Just hear to my words on this. About 15 years ago, when we said Java developer, we knew that, oh, okay, they're hardcore into Java development, and that is what they're doing. The Java stack. And it's a very professional field. When today you say you're a Python developer, you can ask the second question as to what your age or background is. You'd be surprised to hear the ages range from 10 to 60, and different people are coming into it. So it is open to a wider segment of audience. When I say open, it's accepted also. So these are few of the reasons why we should learn Python. And what's very critical, and I see a lot of us have face issues here, is we think it is very tough team. Python is extremely easy to learn. You need a program that takes you one by one step after the other. Anyways, so now let's talk about prerequisites. So what am I expecting as a prerequisite? I see one hand raised. Let me see if there's a question. Shivendra, your hand is raised. Do you have a question for me? I've put your hand down. If there's a question, please raise your hand, team. All right. Any prerequisites? So, as little as possible. I don't want to overburden you with that. Oh, you know what? This is going to be something that you have to spend time. I'll expect MS Office, like Excel. You should be able to know simple Excel. You should be able to work with simple Word, PPT. Get used to it. Simple Google Drive, I want you to be comfortable on how to use similar MS Office things on a cloud. I want you to be comfortable with any program, any one PL if possible. Let's say PL, it's referring to programming language. So example, Java is fine, JavaScript is fine. Let us say you learned it as part of UFT, C# is fine. Don't worry about what do you know. If you know a programming language in the background, then that's good. Otherwise, it's okay. If possible, sorry, excuse me. And I want you to have HTML, basic HTML. Okay. For basic HTML idea team, just go to W3 schools. All of you should be able to go through this self-learning tutorials to get a decent idea, or even on iTeLearn.com, you go to the courses. Basics HTML. So there's HTML and CSS here too. So you can look at this too. So content trainings, HTML basic training videos. This is a couple of hours video stream, but it'll take you through a lot of concepts. So watch these. This will be interesting. So 5 sessions overall. Ting, ting, ting. We'll put this too. So use this content. I will share this Google Doc, and please be subscribed to the YouTube channel. That way, if I put this video with this document link in it, you'll get instant notification. What are the prerequisites, team? Nothing else. I don't mind. I want to keep it. This should be a kids-friendly thing. So anyone, okay, you know what? Only this is optional team. So I don't want you to get scared. You're here because you don't know programming to a large extent. If you're an expert in Java and you had a need to learn Python, you basically won't even wait for the slow training that I would do. You would go about doing a lot of self-learning. So who is it for? And this is an important one, team, because it will talk about where all people are applying this and who all can learn it. So earlier, it used to be only with the developers. Okay. Now I see a lot of security engineers using it. I see people using it in our, what was the writing? Networking, data sciences. When I say data sciences, I also talk about machine learning team and artificial intelligence because it's like a step. Once I have data collected, then we're talking about the next things. But let's take it to the next one. AI/ML. So any engineers in this space, it's absolutely fine for 5th graders and above. So team, if you have kids who have to learn this as part of their curriculum or their interest, then please, your family is part of this package. Let them join in, let them also try and learn. From a utility perspective, a lot of people, but I just want to make sure that even QA engineers, QA automation engineers are using this extensively. There are tools that are being built specifically using Python and Selenium as basis, and that will continue to drive a lot of it. A lot of report engineers, reporting is being done. What else? So I think it is touching across everyone team. It is good to learn Python as is, and like I said, there are no prerequisites other than the fact that you have the basic idea here or just watch some of these videos. Any questions so far, please? Reporting is basically what happens in data sciences is you start with data collection, then you do data analysis, and then you take the data and project it as reports like pie charts or bar graphs and talk about what is happening to give a good idea. So these are high level in sense, not very detailed. You can drill down dashboards made for every application. So these days, team, you'll notice that every application there's a lot to do with report-based testing. So at the end of a business process, it ends with a document being generated as a .pdf, and we download that, and then we have to verify to see that account name ID is come, or that employee ID has come into the report. So we have to do some report level verifications too. All right, so we'll keep adding team as we keep going, but just the fact that it is there across, we are seeing a lot of kids using as part of their school projects. So here, there's something very important to notice, team. So far, whenever there has been a programming language released into the market, it has been done in such a way that it is very sci-fi and it is a serious thing, and only people with serious intent of development should come around. There's nothing to play around here. So when Java came, or C#, .NET, all these technologies, Ruby on Rails, said, you know what, oh, this is going to be complex, stay away people, it's not for everyone. But believe me, Python was the first one which focused on the fact that let's make it kids friendly from a learning perspective only. Not that, oh, even kids can use it. Even Java has been trying to do that. But Python, when it launched itself, it went with that agenda. So you'll see a lot of these projects that are there for kids at school are all being done on Python team. Okay, great. Any questions so far? Training schedule and process. So basically, we're looking at about 5 weeks, team. Monday through Friday, so that's 5 times a week. 6:35 to 7:35 p.m. Pacific time. This is the live training. Okay? Videos on membership site in 24 hours team. Typically 4-5 hours it takes us, but it can take us long to process and put it up on the website. What else is there? Training, schedule, and process. So this will be interactive team using go-to webinar support on Skype group. So we basically will all have one Skype group team. So any challenges, everything we'll do it there. And during live sessions where you can share your screen and talk to us and tell us what's happening. That's our training schedule and process. Ting, ting, ting. Training content. Okay. Let's talk about the training content, everyone. So I think most importantly, we will start off with Python programming basics team. Now, before we can do that, we need to install Python and PyCharm, which is my IDE. Okay, and of course, not every one of us will know what I'm writing here, just because that is the reason you're here. So we're going to learn all of them too. After we learn Python programming basics, we will learn how we can do Git and GitHub, because all the code will be hosted on github.com. Whatever we do on a daily basis, we will put it on github.com. As part of that, you'll understand. So we will also create tasks or jobs in Jenkins and understand the overall CI/CD. Link it up with our GitHub. We will learn about API team. What is application programming interface? And how data is stored in XML format, JSON. Just take a look at YAML also. We will have to talk about automation using Selenium WebDriver. Then we will do automation frameworks. How can we build in Python like we've been doing in Java? How can we build it in Python? Training using Windows or Mac. So training will be on Windows that I'm using. Environment. Good question. Actually, I don't mind doing the training on Mac. The problem is, if I do training on Mac, then not everyone is able to participate easily. So it's easier as a trainer for me to help the students by giving it on Windows. But we'll also support on Mac team. Okay. Automation frameworks. We will then talk about robot framework, how this has been built. Okay. This is going to be very critical for us. Now, what else did I miss as part of this? I test a few things in their libraries. There are a lot of libraries actually for web for APIs. Then for Selenium, there is there. iTest is there. Pandas are there. That is basics of it. We need to be able to understand. Now, what happens in Python programming basics? Let's talk about this also. So we have a kind of an outline. We start with the basic programs. Then we will introduce variables team and how we can talk about that. We will do condition statements. If and we will do loop. We will talk about functions and how we create them in Python. We will talk about lists, tuples, dictionaries. We'll talk about file handling, which is important. How can we handle files using Python? It could be any file team. Basically, how do we read, write, and so on. Try except. How can we do exception handling? Then we can talk about groups, specifically in classes, how we can create them. One second, team. I'm looking at also. Let me see another machine. Actually, API Postman is there. What did I write here? We'll talk about Postman as a tool. We will also have to touch upon Docker team. And yes, we will do Selenium WebDriver here either way. I think that's pretty much what we will be doing this 5 weeks. Jasmine or Cucumber or Karma not here, not as part of this curriculum. Any logs? What do you mean logs? Page object design pattern. We will, what you see is what we will be covering. Okay. This is going to be our training content. If there's anything you feel that we should add as part of it, interact with me as we go along, maybe on Skype, and tell me why, and I'll definitely. Okay. All right. So team, we have 1 hour per day, which is equal to 5 hours a week of classes. So that's 5 hours that you're spending in a week. For each 1 hour, I want you to spend 2 to 3 hours. Let us put it as 3 hours of practice. Each hour of class. Unless you practice by doing what is shown in the class. So whatever I do that for sure. Apart from that, participate in assignments. If you cannot fully concentrate on one batch, repeat later, but attend with positive intent. No, you never know, you may come out right. So that means if I have how many 5 weeks I'm saying, right? So every week 15 hours of practice, so 20 hours per week. That's 20 hours per week for 5 weeks. You'll be setting. So that's a total of 100 hours training practice. This will be a good start. Now, I did mention, remember, technical support. We will all face issues. Let's take it on Skype or during our live sessions. Python project for JPACT members. So I have two projects team. One project right away that we will do is rebuild NEOT using Python. So how can we rebuild such a framework using Python now? There's another project, but I'm not sure if we're getting it yet. So let's see. Assignments in practice. I'm done. Questions, please. And you're welcome to raise your hand if you want to be unmuted. I can also unmute your team so you can speak your question. Any mock interviews or job placement service after the course? So Python project for JPACT members. So we will do mock interviews post training. Definitely. So we will add to JPACT. The job placement specifically we don't need for Python, but we will add into it. And team, so we also need to talk about why learn Python. It is great to have on your resume. So when you go for an interview, interviewers will appreciate it. So when you go for an interview and they ask, okay, so you've been working on Java for a long time, and then they'll ask you, what about Python? Tell me. You'll say, you know what, on Python, I did not get a chance to work on a project yet. I am working on a project, just started, but I finished a 100-hour boot camp training in which I went through a lot of this content and I feel a little comfortable on Python. I know the basics and fundamentals very well. I put in some hours on it. If the project is on Python, then I would love to work on it. Okay, so it will really add to your resume team. So learn this well if you can participate. Oh, like log4j in Java, anything for Python? Not right now. Nothing as a reporting tool on Python that we're going to be working on. So basically, but we will find some reports. I think, would you be conducting this training or someone from your team? So this training I am doing it team. In the month of December, I had this great opportunity to do a very similar training for a corporate client here in Seattle, a very large corporate client. So I had to do the entire thing in 1 week, a full day training. So like, almost 7 hours a day into about 30-35 hours. It wasn't easy in a live environment, especially to have them practice on the side and be able to implement. And that is why I want you all to practice on this thing this time. Yes, I'll be taking this training. I'm live member. How much I need to pay to join live course? How I should need to contact for the same? Please advise. Suresh, for lifetime member, we don't have anything specifically for the live access. Videos you have access anytime for sure. But live we don't have any model like that. Let's try. We'll work on it. I'll let you know. So what we're looking at now is the schedule, and the schedule that I've been sharing team. We've done earlier team. There was a Python with Selenium automation frameworks by Manoj. The link is also here of the playlists and so on. You should look at the old content too. And we're gonna generate something new. This Python live project that we did. What was I showing? Okay, here. So today we had an orientation session team. On 31st, I'm starting with new JPACT 12th batch. I think we can get started on Monday, all of us, with our day one of training. There are installations to do. And so as part of that, I will show it to you live team. And we also have to install it slowly. So a few things to install team as we keep going along. What was I saying? So here in this sheet, Python API CI/CD is here 21st Jan. Yes. So same link team. We'll continue on this. If you're a non-member, attend a couple of sessions and then you can join in. The sale team, I'm taking it off. What you see on the pricing page was an aggressive thing that has been placed. Will be coming off. There is a hand raised. Meanwhile, I have a couple of questions that I wanted to ask. Any other questions, please? Uh, training. Okay, so that's one. I'm putting one poll team. Can you kindly answer this? Okay, I've got only 70% votes team. Can I get everyone to vote it in? I have one more poll after that. And then there's a question. What is JPACT 12th batch timing? So JPACT 12th batch will have multiple things team. As a timing, what we're doing is 5:55 to 6:25 p.m. Pacific time, Monday to Friday. So basically, I'm having this for 30 minutes every day, at least as a team, what's happening. And we can't see it yet, team. I'll also show it to you on the sheet. So I've got the polls in. I'm going to close and share. So we've got a very even distribution team, exactly split 1/3 each. Yes, working experience now or in the past. Some of you have worked on programming. That's great. 33% only got trained on some other programming language. The remaining 33% have not done any coding at all. And welcome team, because it's good to get your hands into Python. Does Python scare you, team? It should not. And believe me, when we go 2 weeks into it, you'll really start breathing so easily. One more poll question, please. And if there are no other questions, I'm done from my end. I'll show you the timings here in the sheet. Last poll, team. Actually, I might have one more poll. But great, thank you. Closing this and sharing it. Okay, so what do we have? We have almost half of you as the existing JPACT members team. Thank you. 30% of you not members, about 25% in the iTeLearn member thing. Great. So team, in this sheet, for timings for JPACT 12 is mentioned here. Now it's written as 6 to 6:30 p.m. just rounded off. Technical mock interviews only. I was trying to do a morning one, but hardly anyone was joining team, so didn't make too much sense. Okay, yeah, so that was the result, and then hide. So here, JPACT 12 in orange, so the schedule, right? And JPACT 11 mock interviews is the one. So we'll try and do a few mock interviews. Okay, one more last one, team. See, this is an interesting poll, the way I see it, because whenever we join a new program, a lot of times we get pumped up, or sometimes we go in like, okay, you know what, why am I here? I don't want to be here, but I'm having to be here. So many questions that we all go through. And sometimes it is scary because we feel that we're not good at a certain thing, and that is why we have spent 30 plus years of our life not worrying about it. Suddenly we have to learn it, and we are being tested with other members in the same pool. It becomes tough, team. Can I get everyone to participate in this last one, team? I want to see what your intent is. And you'll also know what others are thinking, team. Got almost 80% votes in. I'm closing it in 5 seconds. 84%. Okay. Wow, this is amazing, team. Personally, as a trainer, this is very gratifying to see. 100% of you are little to very excited about it. You want to put it all. You just don't want to attend it very casually, team. So it's a lot of seriousness. None of you are scared about it. Oh, is this gonna be a tough program? Thank you. I appreciate that also, team. And none of you are not excited as well. You're all pumped up, so that's good. That's good. And now see, this poll helps in one way that it's not just you're able to see what others are talking about, and that's phenomenal. Let's go ahead and do this, team, as a collective group, and make sure that we come up with good results. 4 to 5 weeks. All we need is maybe till end of Feb, early March. Great. Thank you so much, everyone. The notes from this orientation session, I'll quickly share it here as a link. Any final questions, please? I'll see you mostly on Monday, team. We're going to be starting with the day one. I'll start briefly with installations. We'll support offline a lot on it for any challenges and go on with the regular courses. No, nothing tomorrow, team. I just want everyone to see this video. There's still a lot of members who've not gone through this, not joined today's session. I don't know if the emails are not getting delivered from our end, but I don't see too many registrations. About 40 members in this group currently, but typically for this batch, I was expecting a lot more because there were more registrants. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We'll see you back on day one on Monday. Pretty excited, team. Thank you so much. Let's do this. Bye.